What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So big updates so far. I know I was trying to hold myself accountable, but here we are again, back making content. So I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram or not, but I have been posting small updates about the drift car. But should have recorded last weekend, but kind of was just trying to get this thing thrown in the car. But here it is. The S52 motor that I was rebuilding is now finally back in the car. Now, a little while ago, I was doing all this minor stuff of getting the injectors put back in. Also, my buddy Mitch, who you guys know, drives the 2002, ended up hooking me up with a TRM ECU and the intake elbow and 3.5-inch MAF here. So we went ahead and got those installed. Just a little bit ago, I was having an issue. Some of you guys might have this issue, I don't know. So I went ahead and tested. So let me grab my test light real quick so I can show you guys. So I was getting power on my cluster, but I was not getting the starter to kick over. So there's a lot of different reasons for that. I now have my test light and it is hooked up, it is grounded. So main thing you want to check for is you want to check to make sure that you have power coming from your box here to the starter where the big red cable goes by. So you take this, ground it, and then what you're going to do, if you guys can see, is you're going to touch the lead here. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see. But the power side of the starter here to make sure that you are getting power from the fuse box to the starter itself. Now, I can just touch the other side, which also, I don't know if you guys can see that. So I'm just touching this back side here, and that's the cable that comes over to the alternator. So now we know that we've got power coming from the fuse box to the starter and from the starter over to the alternator. Now, you can also, if need be, you can come here and push into this wire by just slightly piercing it, and you will get power. So we do know, just a double check, that we are getting power through the whole line. Now, what you can do also, because this is also very important, is you need to make sure that you check your grounds on your engine. So, biggest thing here is you can take the lead on this and you can connect it to your power block here, and then you can test for your ground. So, the first ground is in between here. I don't know if you guys can see. Yep, right here. So this is one of the main grounds here, so we are getting power to there, and I have two grounds connected to here. So we test there. So light went on both of them. That one there and that one there. And then you also do have your chassis ground down here. So now we know that everything is getting ground. So I went ahead and checked all that and was like, well, this doesn't make sense. I am getting, power where it needs to get power at. And the last thing that I forgot is I never deleted the clutch safety switch on this. So, had to crawl underneath the dash. I still have to bypass it and go around it, so maybe I'll do that here in a little bit. But I had to actually take my hand, left hand, and put it on the switch for the clutch safety, and then turn the key. Now, also, this is a little confusing because mine isn't all displayed in its nice little box that it's supposed to be in. So what I did was run a test and try to turn the key and hear if I heard the fuel pump kick on. Now, I marked this one with an F because this is the one that does run my fuel pump. So I went ahead and pulled that one out, and since this motor is just freshly rebuilt, I went ahead and cranked the car for, it's 30-40 seconds without any fuel in it, so it didn't start, so we could get oil in all the places that it needs to be. But now is time to actually start it. Alright guys, let's start this thing. to figure out what I'm gonna do here for the intake, because right now I don't have anything that fits this because it's a 3.5-inch MAF. Yeah, I might be able to get like a 90. I'll just go down to the local steel place and get like a little 90 with a coupler, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Oh, okay, so yeah, so I had to steal my brother's mount for this specific reason. So I was running solid bushings on this, and I mean, over time, I don't know how well you can see that. This whole thing just cracked and separated. Sorry about the background noise. Have a bunch of wind chimes up there. But anyways, yeah, you can see that pretty much everything was starting to crack. This one was just about ready to let go, and this one was definitely about ready to let go. I mean, pretty bad that you can kind of see all that. But good thing is, possibly maybe trying to work on some sponsorships here soon. But there is a company that I'm trying to work with that does sell a fully upgraded metal one here. That would be very nice since I do run solid mount bushings on this. So as I had stated, I think in one of the last videos, I have the rev shift, on rev shift themselves, they're called like the drift bushing, which is the teal or turquoise that you can see here. So it does engine mounts and trans mounts. And then, yeah, on the M3, like I said, I upgraded the transmission mounts. That was the last video. And took the motor mounts that were on this car and put them on the M3. Now, super happy with that setup on the M3. The only problem that we do now have with the M3, which isn't anything big or crazy, I just have to figure out what I did with those parts. Everything's kind of a mess still from the motor. If you can't see, I've been trying to clean up some stuff, and there is a surprise down here. Maybe you guys can figure that one out, but I picked those up. So those we still have to do, I have to get lips for, so that can kind of give you an idea of what it is. Okay, well, I can't find the parts. Oh, here they are. Picked these up from Redland's Auto Repair Pros, and since those are the boys over there, along with Motorsport Powder Coating, they always hook me up with everything over there. So anyway, so with the M3, this is the problem. So I don't know if you guys remember in previous videos, I did change out that power steering pump. Now, the power steering pump that was in there was actually good because, I mean, the sound was still there, and I assumed that that's what it was. But I did replace the idler pulley, which I'll show you right here on this motor because it's here. So this is your idler pulley right there. This is your idler pulley, and this is your main pulley. So this is your main tensioner pulley. So this is the one that I think is completely toast on the M3. That's what's making all the noise, because as these bearings go bad in here, they start grinding, and then they'll do all sorts of weird stuff, like make a grinding noise, which will make it sound like the Vanos is going out. Yeah, a bunch of other stuff. So I bought spares. This one, as you can see, is fresh and shiny. It's a brand new one. And then this one was still in good shape, so I didn't go ahead and replace it, but I did buy spares for this. Okay, as you guys can see, or maybe not see, I'm trying to put in the slave cylinder, and my arm is all the way back here. It's the only way I could get to it to reach the top nut here. But we do have the bottom nut secured, and the top one is now on, so we can go ahead and tighten this into place, and we will bleed this soon. Alright guys, now finally have everything put together. We have the drive shaft connected, we have the exhaust connected, and we have the exhaust connected all the way back out to the rear end of the car. That one was easy. There's a V-band clamp there. All nuts and bolts were checked underneath the car. That includes transmission, drive shaft, guibo, center support bearing. I even went through and checked out the subframe, because I know for a fact that I lowered the subframe when I pulled this engine out the first time, because I did it by myself, so I didn't take off the exhaust. When I put it back in, we did separate the down, what you would call the downpipe in this, separated that, and then it was super easy to drop the motor in. Mitch, you know, owns that. He was here to help me, and we literally threw the engine and transmission back in probably 10 minutes. So very easy, but as you can see, everything under here is now fully connected and tightened. So all that we have to do now is check, well, I should say double check, and make sure that this thing sounds good when we turn it on. So I did go ahead and put some break-in oil in this, so I know that this is going to get changed here soon. Also, I don't have any events quite lined up as of yet, just because of this whole process taking such a long time and additional small things that you always need. Everyone always says the last 10%. So working on it. Like I said, there are some wheels. I'll release those shortly. Maybe it'll be on YouTube, maybe on Instagram, but like I said, I have to get lips for those and a few other things for that. But main thing was trying to get this engine done in a timely manner, making sure it runs, making sure everything's good, there's no leaks and everything like that. Like I said, and then just what was extra from earlier is this 3.5-inch MAF, the elbow, all that stuff, TRM tune that's installed. So pretty much remaining is figuring out the coupler and getting a new air filter and the piping for that. And then it'll just be pretty much putting the rest of the front end back together here soon. So we'll probably do that here in a little bit, and we will continue on getting the front end put together, and we'll go from there.
Just writing lines cause I feel like the champ. Heavyweight first place, who could expect to get slapped? I'm running laps round the competition thinking no last. I just laugh, take a sip as I go and sit back.